Hello guys, it is that Panda guy. I'm here again with another video, and today we're going to be looking at the whole Dark Seal bracketing. And yeah, I mean, you guys like these videos, you guys always tune in, so I mean, there's no reason for me not to make a video on this. And yeah, we're going to hop right into it. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's just do this. So we're going to probably go B1 through 10, and maybe I'll skip through a few more brackets if I feel like it. But B1, we basically got 4, aka us. We got 8 and we got 10. So from all accounts, I think 8 is fleeing zone 3, which is very reasonable. I mean, even if they sided with one side, like 4 or 10, I don't think it's really worth it for them. Not only because, I mean, they're kind of picking a side, it's also like there's not really much they can still do. Like their bases are still going to be pretty vulnerable. And I'm pretty sure that these guys are kind of in between, and they're just going to be a tug of war target, so they just evacuate zone 3. That's the smart thing. And I mean, it is how it is, right? And I think it's even the same for 4 and 10, right? Like, you want most of your players to evacuate zone 3 unless they're capable of defending themselves, and that's probably what's going to happen before reset. You're going to see a lot of players evacuate from 10. You're going to see a lot of players evacuate from 4 as well, because I mean, like, if a player is what, like, I can't even find a freaking small enough player. Well, let's say you're like 60 million, 40 million, whatever, right? You're way more vulnerable. I will also note real quick that they did change the whole rules around the zeroing thing, because I know people knew about the zeroing trick. You cannot use the zeroing trick as freely now, because they kind of changed how the mechanics on it work. And if you swarm a base, right, like let's say I'm swarming this account and I walk away from the base, you basically what you would do is you would stop before the base actually burns, so the shield mechanism wouldn't trigger. Well, if you get it down to red and you walk away, it triggers a shield. I've also seen some accounts where it would shield even if you're in yellow, and I don't understand how that works. Maybe it's like an injure ratio that it kind of does the whole shielding mechanic on. I'm not really sure, but it does shield a lot better, and it just makes it hard for you to zero anybody, right? So um, it's way safer, but it's still not worth it, right? Like, you're just better off fleeing the zone if you're incapable of defending yourself. That's basically how it is. That being said, you're probably going to see people just flee the zones. And I mean, that's usually the case when you're fighting an overwhelming opponent, or just an opponent who is equal in strength or strong enough to actually just put up a big enough threat, right? I mean, and that's also the case when you're just overwhelmed. But you guys get my point, right? Like, there's just no point to keep these people in zone 3. I don't really know who's going to win this, and honestly, I never really care. Like, I never really care who wins in Dark Seal. I think it's like one of those events where it's stupid. I actually like Dark Seal. I know a lot of people hate Dark Seal. I actually like Dark Seal. I like the fighting. I think it keeps kill event interesting. And I mean, like I said, like I always say, I get the whole, oh, now it's hard for free to play to compete in kill events, but it's also kind of like, it's way better than having a 1v1 every time for kill event, right? Like, it's just way more entertaining and all that, and it just brings more spice to the game when people used to complain about having lack of events and stuff like that. So overall, I actually like this event. It does keep me entertained, and with 85% returns, I'm not so scared to have a bunch of deaths, right? Like, it's fine for me, and I don't really mind. So I actually like this event, and I'm willing to fight. I just don't care who wins, right? Like, I think I just use it as a booster for kill event points if I ever need any. So B2 has 5, 12, and 16. From what I see, 12 is actually fleeing their zone. So, and I mean, I don't blame them. I think 12 is a pretty strong region here. 5 is probably going to get targeted. I saw quite a few people actually still left in mid, and I'm assuming they're going to move out of mid because that's the smart thing. But I can also not say for sure, right? Like, these guys are going to get slaughtered if they don't move, and yeah, like, you gotta move, right? Like, you just gotta move. I'm assuming that 12 is just gonna give up their metro, just doesn't care. And I mean, it's right before island raid as well, so who wants to waste all their resources and all that fighting right before a big event like that? Like, I don't care about getting deads and stuff during Dark Seal, but I would rather not burn through all my resources, right? Like, I do have a lot of tokens, but and I would rather for an event not to be right before. I mean, I'm still gonna fight because I love fighting, but I quite rather there wouldn't be an event right before Island Raid, right? So B3 has 13, 15, and 17. So from last Dark Seal, I had people saying that 13 was, doing pretty well, and I say this a lot, but where they excel is their numbers. I think that, I've said this many times, but they are more of a free-to-play region, and, being that they're region 13, they're also much older, meaning that even if they're free-to-play, their accounts are more developed, and they just have a lot of people. They have a lot of people. They pushed out the alliance that they hated out of middle, and now they're way more organized, they're way more united, and this just means that they can work together way better if they wanted to fight in Dark Seal. I do think that this makes them a really strong group, and they do have a few T6 players, so I mean, now they're kind of in a much better situation. That being said, overall, I think that 13's in a pretty good spot. But in this bracket, I don't think that they're going to be able to put up a big threat. I think that they probably could defend Metro if they wanted, as long as they're not getting ganged up on. And this is the issue. I think that 15 and 17 are both strong, right? I think 17 probably stronger than 15 just because of the whale base. But both of these regions, at least in the past, have, there's been, I feel like there's more of a chance for them to align just from all accounts, right, that I know. And 13 is probably going to be in a rough spot. Or at least they're going to be more friendly on their agreements to fight. Really, I don't see them being very aggressive with each other and having a big brawl against each other. So I kind of feel bad for 13 being stuck in this bracket. Even if they were willing to fight each other, still 13 isn't like a big whale region, so it's a kind of rough one for them to be in. 9, 14, and 26. 26 is obviously going to blow this bracket, right? And that's the thing. I think that 26 definitely needs to be put in a bigger or harder bracket because they keep getting these brackets where, like, these regions in comparison are just much weaker. 14 just doesn't have the whales. I think they have maybe one T6 player, and then the rest are just not able to do anything. They just have to evacuate mid. Like, all they can do is evacuate zone 3, and that's the smart thing. And I think it's kind of the same with 9. They obviously have more whales and probably could put up more of a fight, but I don't see them being able to fight off 26. And no chance. I can see that, right? Like, I just don't see that happening. And 26 is probably going to dominate that bracket. B5, we got 3, we got 6, and we got 7. So from what I'm pretty sure happened last time that they were together, I'm pretty sure 6 and 7 were pretty friendly. From what I know, 7 is just a pretty chill region. So from what I'm guessing, 6 and 7 aren't going to fight, at least on aggressive terms. And I know that 6 is more so aligned to Boone, so you're probably going to see 3 targeting them. And if I'm going to be honest, I think that 6 could honestly overwhelm 3. I think people all know 3 for having RPG. But I said this on many accounts, it's not in a way to jab at Region 3, but you have Region 3, right? RPG at 9.4 billion might, and these are some of the alliances that, I feel like have a lot of might, but they are much weaker than you kind of would expect. You maybe have LeBron, you have Bay here, which was Master. I don't know if they sold their account or changed their name. You have Haley P, and these are the main fighters. I mean, I think Huntress fights a bit. I know Veteran fights a bit. I know this dude fights a bit. The rest of these players, not so sure. I think Gold October, pretty sure that's an alt. I'm pretty sure Forever's an alt. Baby One's an alt. Mad Max? No, that's his own dude. No-No's an alt. I think maybe Big Bang. But the point is, like, a lot of these accounts either just aren't willing to fight. They're alts that don't fight. And, I feel like a lot of the might is just farmer might and stuff, and that's kind of the problem I think you get with like really old regions as well. You have a lot of these big players who have very little kills. That just goes to show that these guys aren't fighters, right? And you got 6 who do have a lot of big players, and I will give it to 3. They do have some of the strongest whales in the game. Like I won't say like among the top 10, like maybe like LeBron or something could be considered one of the best whales in the game or one of the biggest fighters. But LeBron can't solo, Mob and DBN. I just don't see that happening. I can honestly see Region 3 getting beat down on by Mob, right? Like, I can see that happening. I can see them losing in the field presence. I can see them losing Metro because that's just how I see it. They have a lot more fighters here, and I feel like the top guys here who are all 100 mil T6 plus or whatever are willing to fight, and that's just basically how it is. I don't say this to kind of jab at RPG. I try to be really respectful, right? Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, I try to be a respectful player when covering these alliances, but I honestly see RPG losing if they had to fight 1v1 with 6. Alright, so now we got B6 here. We got 19, we got 20, and we got 21. So 19 should have Too Hot, 20 should have X War, and then 21 should have Indie 21. I think 20 is by far in a weaker spot. I think 21 is by far the strongest, or at least somewhat the strongest. I wouldn't say by far. 19 is a bit behind in combat strength, but I do think that they're a pretty strong region. I think that they could hold their metro just fine if they held, and tried to hold. I think 21 obviously is really strong with Indy 21. And I mean, that group is just powerful. I say it every time, but they're a really good group. I think X War and F War, all them. I think that they're united and all that, and they're not weak. But in comparison to these two groups, it's not worth defending. I think just moving out of mid is the right choice. I don't know if they could defend Metro, and even if they could, it's like, is it worth it? I don't. I'd have to check their wells actually, because if they don't have like really good gear here, I don't know if it'd be worth, having like someone garrison captaincy. Like, I love how he focuses all infantry. This is how you know this dude is down to defend any tower. He has his parts right here, blue and green, and then it's like gold, purple. You have one supreme part, which probably costed him like a house. Oh my gosh, dude. I don't know why that's so comedic to me. I don't think it's gonna be worth defending. I mean, honestly, possible with this garrison captain King Blaze over here. I love how this dude is so infantry built right there. That's honestly just awesome. But yeah, I think they're better off just probably backing out of mid and stuff, and maybe just going for picking fights, maybe reinforcing bases, having them go into 21 and try to get them beat on. So we're looking at B7 now. We got 28, we got 42, and we got 48. So I'm gonna be honest, guys. Some of these regions I should remember. I don't know 48, and I feel like I should know 28, but I'm not super familiar. I feel like I think I've covered these guys before, and I'm 99% sure that I was groaning because I was like, no, why are these guys in this bracket? This isn't cool. And yeah, I mean, you got Phoenix in them there. They honestly got a few wells. I still don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at their enemies real quick. I'm sorry, I forgot the regions already. This is B7, right? So 42, I already feel like they're vastly stronger than 28. Got a lot more whales here. So 42, already seeing them being a dominant power, and being that these guys are at 10.8 billion combat might as well, I'm assuming that 48 is kind of in the same situation. Yeah, rough one, honestly. I don't think this is worth defending. 48. 48. It's not letting me freaking click on this. Yeah. There's just not a lot of big alliances here. I mean, you look at 42. I think 42 has always been one of those, one of those region alliances that is like way above. 42 overall. One of those regions that's way above average for their region number. I wouldn't like compare them to like DHX, but they could be considered sort of for their region or their regionish. Yeah, pretty good, pretty big alliances here. I think the best shot is maybe allying against 42, and I mean obviously 42 is gonna win in points in that case. But even then, I don't think 42 even cares to ally, or they wouldn't probably need an ally. I think it's better if 28 and 48 allied just to maybe try to hold each other's metros and maybe help each other out. That's the maybe best possible situation I can see happening there. Otherwise, nothing really much they can do. They're going to end up getting overwhelmed. All it takes is having a lot of wills flooding the field. You can't really push it, and then boom, you're done for. B8, you got 11, you got 18, and you got 35. So 11 got AOW, 18 has AC18. These are my home dogs. I already feel like these guys are going to be the strongest just because I know AC18 and all that, and just looking at the combat strength from 35, I'm already guessing that these guys are going to be vastly weaker. Okay, Chev. I know Chev. I think I have know a little bit about Chev. They actually aren't weak, right? Did they drop a lot of members? Yeah, 54 members in there. I'm guessing that that's for Island, or maybe they're trying to do something for the Dark Seal matchmaking. Just so everybody knows, dropping your members isn't going to change the Dark Seal matchmaking. It's going to be among your top 300 people in your region. You know, that kind of determines that if anybody's doing it for that reason. I think 35 actually could probably hold if they really wanted. They actually don't look that weak, you know. They actually look pretty decent. I think that AC-18 probably dominant force in the bracket though. I'm not really sure how 11 will do there. I think 35 could probably hold their metro if they really tried. This bracket, I would probably guess that it'd be either more so friendly, or just and nobody really has bad blood for each other. So I don't think it's gonna be like to the point where everybody's blood hungry or cares to hold a metro for the whole period. You got 96 here. I don't even think I really need to look at these two regions. Just looking at their combat strength, right? You got 55 and 99. We already all know 96. They have DHX. DHX are upcoming freaking beasts. And I mean, like, what are you supposed to do? You know, it's not like, you know, 55 is obviously an older region. They have probably a Peterson and stuff, which could make defending possible. But you consider DHX, they're probably just going to swarm Metro, and holding this thing is going to be impossible. I mean, you see everybody abandon middle, which is the right choice. Everybody left middle already. They said, nope, we're not defending this. There's literally no point in defending middle here. they just dipped, and you know what? I'm all down for it because that is the right freaking choice. This is like unreal. I mean, you got Core here. Isn't Core an ally of DHX actually? I feel like Core is their ally. Am I wrong? Am I right or am I right? Because I swear I've seen them on their board before. And let's see how strong DHX is now. So not 9 billion yet, but they are getting freaking close there. So you get 99 here. I think this is going to be the ally board if my thing ever loads. I kind of want to see this, but it's not loading for me. I'm pretty sure, though, that these guys are actually allies with them. And it just says picture size. Freaking translation, man. I'm gonna assume that the 99 are allies with them though, and they're probably not gonna get like a lot of heat. Maybe it'll be a friendly fight. DHX literally doesn't care. Look at these guys. Look at these guys. These guys are honestly gonna be beasts though. This is the next big alliance upcoming right here. This is freaking wild. Almost 9 billion might. Like that region's what, like maybe 4 months old. I'll look at it like near the end of this video. It's kind of crazy though. B10, it has 22, 23, and 27. So we're going to look at these three. Hopefully I don't forget the region numbers. So we got 22, which is Lost. I already see Lost kind of left mid. So maybe their opponents are some like powerhouses that they're scared of. That, or they just don't want to fight this time around. I feel like Lost isn't weak though, you know? I mean, I guess you have SMHS here. You know, just so you guys know, these guys are scumbags. You know, I'm gonna look at this last because I just want to talk about how scummy they are at the end of this because I hate SMHS so much. Yeah, D-Day. I mean, I don't see D-Day like being scary enough to scare Lost off. Maybe they just said for the core player base to leave mid, and then they're gonna come back whenever Metro needs to be defended. I'm not really sure. Okay, well. This bracket looks a little bit more even. I think it's a little bit more fair. We have SMHS here. These guys are scummy, okay? So let's check this out. They're at 6 billion might. I'm surprised they even reached 6 billion. I hate these guys so much, man. These guys are like traitors. I would never trust them. Alright? That's all I'm gonna say, guys, because I don't want to spend too much time. If their profile's loaded, I could maybe see who the heck I'm looking at, but it's not loading for me. Either way, SMHS, these guys suck. These guys are scummy. They're traitors, and these guys can't even admit that they're scummy traitors, right? That's basically how it is, you know. I hate these guys. I know they love me because I talk about them every single time I see them, but I hate those guys. You know, I'm never going to forget them. And, you know, we're going to look at a few more brackets. So we got 11 here. We got region 30, 39, and 43. I'm not going to lie. I'm not very familiar with these regions. I think 43 might ring a bell. Here, I'm just gonna skip around. We got 2, we got 50 and 51. I think their problem with 2 is they just keep losing their dark seals and they're just dropping. And how the heck are they fighting 50 and 51? I think that's the same with region 1 though. 32, 34, 36. Looks like 36 is probably top among their peers. Let me check this out. Oh yeah, I've seen these guys. I've seen these guys before. Honestly, a pretty strong looking group over here. I don't know, man. I don't even know. I don't honestly. I don't honestly care. I don't honestly care how my bracket goes. I don't care how anything goes because I'm just ready for this to be over. I'm ready for Island to start. And guys, let me just tell you, I'm praying. I'm kind of praying for an easier Island this time because I don't want to fight. I'm kind of lazy. I'm feeling lazy, but I feel like we're gonna get a really bad Island this time since we won our last one. We've won 2 in a row, so I feel like we're definitely gonna get punished with bad matchmaking, right? And I think some people are confused. By the way, people saw on the calendar that Dark Seal overlaps with Island Raid, and just so people know, Island Raid doesn't actually start on frickin' Sunday. Like, I don't even think registration starts on Sunday, right? It should start like Monday or something. I think you get the frickin' menu for one day, you start registration or something, then after you do the whole registering for a day, then it puts you into matchmaking for another day, which is probably going to be Tuesday. And then after Tuesday, you're going to see your freaking opponent on Wednesday, right? I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. And you're going to be able to end up invading them the next day. Or however the heck that goes. I think actually you might actually register on the first day. I might be a little bit stupid, but you guys get my point, right? Like obviously we're not going to be fighting in Island and freaking Dark Seal at the same time. It doesn't work like that. The devs aren't that stupid. I mean, maybe they're that stupid, but they're not that stupid. But yeah, that is it to the video. I just wanted to do this. I felt like doing it, and I do appreciate you guys as always for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one, and that is it. Peace.